It's music. Yeah. Yeah, let's go. As you think of me, I don't think we did. I don't think we will put your advice yesterday we came. Let's start. Try also. It can be some use. You are doing it. कभी मल्टीटास्किंग नहीं हो सकता कि दोनों हाथ ऊपर है तो भी बजाना है. You have done this at school, time of surgery. Yes, yes, no. Well, so this story is basically the theme is about overprotection. And if you take some parents, they are very overprotective about the child. उनको भी नहीं बार overprotective about जरूरत से ज़्यादा देना या करना और you know meeting up to all their demands. हाँ अच्छा है तो चाहिए it's not healthy. Because you keep getting what you want, first of all, you put patterns of the things, and you need take things for granted. Right? मुझे जो चाहिए वो मिल नहीं वाला है. You don't value those things. And another thing is that कभी अगर ऐसा होता है कि not able to get it, and you are going to be perfect. So, are any of your parents like that? कि मैं डिमांड रखता हूँ और मुझे मेरा रखूँ और मुझे वो दे ही देते. या अगर नहीं देते तो मैं टैंट्रम थ्रो करता हूँ, मैं नखरे करता हूँ, मैं बात नहीं करता हूँ, मैं गुस्सा होता हूँ, फिर मुझे मिल जाता. Any of your parents like that? फ्रॉड भी नहीं कर रहा है. हाँ? फिर उसके बाद देना ही नहीं चाहिए. In that bar each one ये मेरा हाँ मैं दीदी का और ना तो शांति कुछ भी कुछ दे दो और भी सेकेंड ईयर में ना तो उसको हर महीने 5,000 दे दे. और दीदी मेरे 50 दे दो. हाँ और ऊपर से मुझे उससे भी लेके मारते थे कोई मेरे को जान सकते. हाँ अभी दीदी को देते होंगे क्योंकि उसको जरूरत होगी ना. शी मस्ट बी ट्रैवलिंग एंड ऑल. नहीं वो हॉस्टल में स्टडी में है. इसके लिए ना
इसका पैसा पापा देते हैं और स्टूडेंट पैसा पापा पैसे देते
हैं। तेरे को तो घर पे मिल रहा है ना ऑलरेडी।
कहाँ
तू घर खाना घर पे आता है ना, तो फिर
हाँ तो
यार नीड्स का नॉट
बाहर मेस में खाएंगे तो बाहर आके खाएंगे, शॉपिंग में अपने फ्रेंड्स को मिलते रहते हैं, फोटो भी से भेजते हैं।
5,000 really अगर बाहर रहो, if you're staying outside and bearing all your expenses, then 5,000 ज्यादा नहीं है। 5,000 में ऐसा नहीं है कि तू कोई lavish लाइफ जी पाएगी, बहुत खर्चे कर पाएगी। 5,000 में उसका बेसिक खाना पीना का होगा।
और छुट्टियों में यहाँ पे ज्यादा खर्चा भी करते हैं।
अभी तो शीज एट होम, अपने पेरेंट्स के साथ है, तो वो अलग बात है, वो पैम्परिंग नहीं। दैट इज लाइक केटरिंग टू देयर नीड्स। अब वो दूर रहती है ना, जब वो इधर भी
फैमिली मेंबर्स है, सारे फैमिली मेंबर्स है,
रहती इधर, हाँ इधर रहती इधर है,
हॉस्टल में रहते हैं।
काफी क्या उधर रह के उनका खाती है, बोले उसके लिए खर्चा है,
वो उसको मारना है, क्योंकि वो संडे को बाहर लेके जाते हैं।
वो एक दिन
यहाँ संडे,
अरे एक सेकंड, that is okay. See, even I had my daughter जो almost 4.5 years वो दूरी थी, मतलब she was at Pune. She was staying there only. She used to not travel up and down. तो I used to give her. How would I not give her? वो खर्चे कैसे करेगी? 5,000 आजकल के टाइम में ज़्यादा नहीं थे। When you start earning and spending, now yourself you will understand. Earning and spending. If you're only spending, you will feel. हाँ क्या? तेरे ऊपर भी उल्टा 5,000, तेरे ऊपर कितना खर्चा हो रहा है? मैंने कितना है, स्कूल का फीस कितना है, फिर खाने का खर्चा कितना है, कपड़े लेते हैं। Where is she studying?
मेडिकल कर लिया, मेडिकल में
हाँ तो
मेडिकल में भी इतना सारा पैसा,
पढ़ाई भी मेडिकल करें, which college? Private college.
मैथ्स में बोलते हैं कि मैथ्स में अच्छा करके बनता है, इसलिए बाहर आए।
अब बार-बार उधर बोर हो जाते हैं, तो खुद रहेगा ना, तभी तेरे को ध्यान देंगे। That is not pampering. That is like catering to their basic needs.
हम उसके नाम को बहुत बड़े हैं, उसको उड़ाना बहुत पसंद है, बोलते हैं मैं ऐसे बात करके नंबर को मार सकूं।
Sibling war. And why your brother does that? तो मेरा सामान तो एक लेकिन उससे वो खेलता है, उसको पहले थोड़ी ना करता है, 2-3 दिन बाद वो कितना बड़ा होता है। हाँ नहीं यार, कुछ भी हो एटलीस्ट होएगा कैरेक्टर। because she is very sensible, she doesn't pay a demand for people. So in fact, I keep telling her, I need spend, buy, spend, exactly, because she thinks so much. So but when she was small, otherwise they have where she used to put her back, she अपनी चाहिए. I have made sure that वो कभी तो ना दे. Later, at my own time, I might say okay, she needs. And later, at any time, we need to be nice to them. Because when they start connecting, मैंने tantrum तो किया तो मुझे कुछ नहीं सीखा. So next time if I want something, what should I do? तेरा कुछ भी नहीं है ना, खुद के लिए ना दूसरे, हाँ ना खुद के लिए ना दूसरे के लिए. क्या क्या सामान चलाते हैं ना खुद के कौन मैं करता हूँ. क्या होता है? अरे वाला तू तब कोने में चुप रहा है ना, वो ब्रेक हो जाएगा. वो अगर मतलब कुछ आता है ना, विदाउट काम की अलग चीज नहीं होती है, वो बहन मेरी बहन है देने के लिए आती, मैं उठे भीतर डैश बोलता ना तेरा नाम तेरा ये भी भेज देना, तो बाद में निकाल देता हूँ. हाँ बोलूंगी मैं, एल्डर सिस्टर छोटी वाली
KHR25 के साथ
बोलूंगी मैं उसको कभी मिलेगी तेरा पाएगा करता है याद करना अगली बार डस्टबिन में कुछ फेंकेगा तो तू ही उठा लेना उसको मत अगर फोन पर
फोन वाला
फोन हुआ तो या
फोन के करने
फोन भी फेंकेगा अगर तेरे मम्मी पापा को बोलना फिर पड़ेंगे then you don't need your sister you throw your phone चाहिए okay so this story is about triumph of surgery is about this dog who is very backward और अभी तो we spoke about things getting things and demanding and here you have this dog who's just being fed you know ऐसे माँ बाप करते हैं बच्चों को just give feed push बच्चे को नहीं खाना है तो भी just push it and he gulps it
और मेरे फ्रेंड मेरे बिल्डिंग में वो कुछ भी बोलते उसको ले लेते हैं उसको खुद का वो भी उसके बोलते हैं उसको बोल लेते हैं
और मैं फिफ्थ कर
मुझे आईफोन
but that's not bullying that's
उसको 3-4 साइकिल लगे हाँ और वो कुछ भी बोलेगा ट्यूशन भी जाना है नहीं स्कूल जाना है बंक करना है 5-6 दिन नहीं जाने देंगे वो टीवी का वो लेकर रखे वो उनके पास टीवी दिन पास
उसको टीवी
हाँ वो अलग ही वो कुछ भी करता है हम लोग अपना स्टोर हमसे फाइट करता है घर पे जाने के बाद बोलते हैं कि मम्मी इन्होंने मारा मैंने कुछ किया ही नहीं हाँ उसके बाद मम्मी हम लोग को डांटती रहती है
करेक्ट सो ही इज टेकिंग एडवांटेज ऑफ दैट बिहेवियर नॉर्मल नहीं है ना दैट्स नॉट नॉर्मल
इसको सब लोग मैं लोग बोलते हैं तो स्मार्ट बोलते
या abnormal behavior no where they especially think that यार इसकी ऐसा हुआ है तो they know हमारे मम्मी पापा
ऐसे बीच में हुआ है कि मेरा छोटा भाई है दूसरा एक वो कितना उसने बीच में देखा था कि कभी छीन लेता था तो वो में छोटी तरह से 6 साल का है खेती की तरह लगता है
and that's not good that is too much of flow nowadays with kids it's getting to communication because okay say it's only one way now unless when we talk we interact with people it will be a problem especially after COVID. So anyway, so this dog was also like that where he used to be overfed by his mistress. Okay? So उसके वजह से it had started affecting his health. Then there was this doctor who takes him to the surgery. To the surgery means to the clinic, not for any kind of operation. Your surgery, normally surgery is also taking of operation. But the triumph of surgery means triumph of the of the treatment given to him at the clinic. So what does a doctor do?
He takes the dog at his clinic. There were several dogs. They were another species. He only gave he was only fed water for the whole meal. So he was like not a friendly dog. He was like he didn't come to play with other dogs.
He was friendly actually, but in the beginning, because of his ill health, he had become very inactive. Listless is the word uses. Not lazy, also inactive. Like lazy only, but it's not that he was actually lazy. Once he started recovering, he started playing with the other dogs. Right? So, what else?
Then he started to play with the other. After a while, his health got better enough.
Yeah.
So he was being friendly with other dogs because he was used to eat with them. He used to eat leftovers of theirs, the other dogs. Then he became friendly with them, and he used to run here and then with them. And he was his health was good enough for that time. And whereas Dr. Harriot was means Mrs. Pomfrey was saying that this is not okay or not. She gave Mr. Harriot 6 dozen of eggs so that to feed the
Yes, when she came to know that he is recovering, at that time she started sending eggs.
six dozen of eggs and a wine, then red color.
Yes, wine and then brandy and all that.
Yeah,
But was that given to the dog?
no,
No, that wasn't given because that was not what the dog needed. So that the
is a
doctor and his people only used to have it. Okay, and then
his dog was then he gave the dog to Miss
yes, after how many days?
49 fortnight.
Fortnight means 15 days. 15. So earlier only he had said that he need a fortnight. He took a fortnight to recover. And did he give any medicines?
No.
No medicines. Only a good healthy diet. Initially nothing was given except water, and then slowly he was given the regular food that all the dogs used to get. And one more thing was activity increase, because then he started playing with the other dogs. When he was with Mrs. Pumphrey, what was happening?
He was also
Yes, she was only feeding him and there was no exercise. Why no exercise? Only exercise was walks with the lady. Walks में क्या होने वाला है? She's an old lady, so she's not going to walk that fast. And other exercises, what had happened? Why it had discontinued? Because the gardener was down with the lumbar back pain and all that. So the gardener was down with lumbago, so there was no ring throwing. Ring throwing means
fetching the ball.
yes, fetching the ring. Oh, ring होता है ना, which you throw and get the trophy. And not frisbee also ring. Now, just like a frisbee only, it used to be like a small rubber tire. You can imagine, no? It used to be like that in colorful, different colors. Huh? Yeah, small and hard it used to be. Beach में there used to be, it was used to be it's just like a tire shape, where rounded made of hard rubber. So then you were supposed to throw it and then the person on the other side catches it. So, now we proceed with this. So, triumph of search. Triumph means victory. Tricky, a small dog, is pampered and overfed by his rich mistress. He falls seriously ill and his mistress consults a veterinary surgeon. Does he perform an operation? Does he perform? No. Does the dog recover? Yes. I was really worried about Tricky this time. I had pulled up my car when I saw him in the street with his mistress, and I was shocked at his appearance. He had become hugely fat, like a bloated sausage, with a leg at each corner. You can see him behind in that picture. So you see how he's become so fat, he's almost reaching the ground. If you ever see small legs of his tongue is out, right? Which means he's out of breath. And even about his eyes, which is mentioned, his eyes are bloodshot. His eyes bloodshot and rheumy. Bloodshot means red, and rheumy means watery. Because he had started becoming sick. Stared straight ahead, and his tongue lolled from his jaws. Lolled means rolled out of his jaws. Mrs. Pumphrey hastened to explain. Hasten means quickly explain. He was so listless, Mr. Harriot. Listless means without any energy. There at the back. Lacking yes, lacking energy and enthusiasm. So listless and lazy may not mean the same. Listless means person who don't have. Like if you're not well, what happens? Will you say you're lazy or will you say you're listless when you have fever? Listless. So he was listless. He was so listless, Mr. Harriot. He seemed to have no energy. I thought he must be suffering from malnutrition. Was he suffering from malnutrition? He was suffering from ulta of malnutrition, right? So she thinks that he must be suffering from malnutrition. Malnutrition, you all know what it is, right? Lacking enough vitamins and minerals in the body. So I have been giving him some extras between meals to build him up. Extras between meals means main meals के बीच में और खाने को दे रहे snacks. Some malt and cod liver oil and a bowl of Horlicks at night to make him sleep. Nothing much really. अच्छा ये Horlicks and all the bad feedback to you know now lately it's coming in the news also that won't be done. They say that what yeah thanks. Yes, that and secondly, it is not a health drink as it is promoted. It is a health drink, a strong word. Yes. Oh, these are just strategies to sell. So if there's a health drink, उसमें health
वैसे भी बहुत मीठा कैडबरी के ना कैडबरी तो
chocolate and it's mostly all sugar only.
you know
Okay. It's good to taste, but then okay, if you're having it, don't think कि हाँ ये मेरे लिए healthy है. Okay, मुझे कुछ मीठा पीने का मन कर रहा है, so I'm having it. Get that understand? You feel a little energetic and all that, but there is no kind of health in that. So it's best avoided.
पहले मैं खुद जॉब पे वो कंप्यूटर मेरी बहन देखती थी और हर्षीज करके
अच्छा हर्षीज दे और लिक्विड सिरप Hershey's so I would like Hershey's yes very drunk really. Liquid acid and taste them. Okay. So she had been giving him Horlicks and cod liver oil and malt at night to make him sleep. Nothing much really. She said, oh, this is nothing much. And did you cut down on the sweet things as I told you? No. Oh, I did for a bit, but he seemed to be so weak. I had to relent. Relent means I had to give in. मैं नहीं रोक सकी उसको, मुझे उसको देना ही पड़ा. बेचारा weak हो. He does love bean cakes and chocolates, so I can't bear to refuse it. And these chocolates and sweet things are not good for dogs. And chocolate is poisonous, yeah, I know. That's not dog के लिए very भी अच्छा है, भी अच्छा नहीं. I can't bear to refuse it. I looked down again at the little dog. That was the trouble. Tricky's only fault was greed. He had never been known to refuse food. He would tackle a meal at any hour of the day or night. If उसको जब भी दो, जितना भी दो, उसको भी refuse नहीं करता था. Machine. Because that's what he had. That's how he had lived. No, मिलता जाएगा. And I wondered about all the things Mrs. Comfrey hadn't mentioned. She told me about the cream cakes and chocolates and what else? Cod liver oil and malt and Horlicks. So all this she told me, but I forgot all the things that she mustn't have told. इसके अलावा भी और कुछ बेटी हो कुछ उसका पता है. Are you giving him plenty of exercise? There. He has a but he has his little box with me, as you can see, but
cod liver oil.
yeah.
दूसरा cod liver oil पता है क्या?
ये cod liver oil पूरा का सब में ज्यादा तो अच्छा होगा. मतलब cod liver oil पता नहीं.
Cod liver oil क्या होता है?
oil होता है.
वो एक fish oil रहता है. It is high in omega-3. Omega-3 is good for our health. So you get it in capsules. It's a yellow color की transparent soft gels जैसे रहते हैं ना, like that. That's supposed to be good, healthy even for us. Okay. Well, he has his little box with me, as you can see, but watch him, the gardener has been down with lumbago. The lumbago is lower back. So there has been no ring throwing lyrics. I tried to sound serious. Serious means serious. Now I mean this. If you don't cut his food right down and give him more exercise, he is going to be really ill. You must harden your heart and keep him on a very strict diet. So what are the two things he's advising? Give him a strict diet and give him plenty of exercise. I watched Mrs. Pumphrey wrung her hands. Oh, I will, Mr. Harriet. I'm sure you are right. But it is so difficult, so very difficult, so difficult for me not to give him food. She set off, head down along the road, as if determined to put the new regime into practice immediately. New regime means what was going to be the new regime? Cut down food. Yes, cutting down on food and giving him plenty of exercise. And there is this word wrung her hands. What does that mean? Ring. Wrung means ring. The verb is ring. W-R-I-N-G. That means this. When you're worried about something, you do this. This is called wringing of your hand. So she did wringing of hand. Okay, उसका past participle क्या है? Ring का wrung. W silent. We expected Paul within a few days. इनको डिस्टर्ब हो रहा है, वो कुछ कर, ये को दिख रहा है, इधर देखिए, तो जाओ, एक वीडियो से इधर इधर आप यहाँ, that did daddy told us that. इधर कौन है? Dad या mom? Papa. आज पापा को So Mrs. Pumphrey was distraught. Distraught means she was now very worried, in a bad state of mind. What had happened? Ricky would eat nothing, refused even his favorite dishes, and besides, he had bouts of vomiting. Speech में उसको he was even vomiting. He spent all his time lying on the rug, panting. Panting means breathless. He didn't want to go for walks, didn't want to do anything. I had made my plans in advance. The only way was to get Ricky out of the house for a period. I suggested that he be hospitalized for about a fortnight. How much time? Fortnight. Yes. What's the spelling of fortnight? F-O-R-T-N-I-T. It is not F-O-R-T-H. Fort. F-O-R-T. Fortnight. To be kept under observation. The poor lady almost swooned. Swooned means almost fainted, thinking that 15 days, how will Tricky live without me? She was sure he would pine and die. Pine means he would be totally heartbroken and he would die if he did not see her every day. But I took a firm line. Tricky was very ill, and this was the only way to save him. In fact, I thought it best to take him without delay, and followed by Mrs. Pumphrey's wailings. Wailings means her crying, because Tricky was going to go. I marched out to the car carrying the little dog wrapped in a blanket. So he thought that I must immediately take Tricky with me. I did not want to wait any further. The entire staff was roused. Roused means they were all moving about. Why? Because this important person of the house was leaving. So what do they have to do? Bring all the things. Toys, beds, cushions, lunch, dinner bowl. breakfast bowl, everything. So the entire staff was roused and the maids rushed in and out, bringing his day bed, night bed. Our beds are the same, day or night. This dog had different beds. Favorite cushions, toys, rubber rings, breakfast bowl, lunch bowl, supper. Supper means dinner. Realizing that my car would never hold all the stuff, I started to drive away. As I moved off, Mrs. Pumphrey, with a despairing cry, threw an armful of little coats to the window. Last, just down. I looked in the mirror before I turned to the corner of the drive. Everybody was in tears. So we could see through that rare view mirror जो side में रहता है. तो side पे के लिए side. There's one on the side and one in the front. So both. So he looked through the rear view mirror and what did he see? Yeah, everyone was trapped. Out on the road, I glanced down at the pathetic little animal. Pathetic means poor little animal, someone on whom you have pity in a bad condition. Gasping on his seat by my side. Gasping again means going out of breath. Panting. Gasping is struggling to take a breath. So that's gasping. I patted the head and Tricky made a brave effort to back his tail. Brave effort why? Because he had become so weak that even backing his tail was a big deal for him. So that's why he's saying brave effort. Poor old lad, I said, you haven't the kick in it. But I think I do not cure. Having the kick in you means no, not even a little bit of energy left in you. But I know the solution. Now he gets into the surgery. At the surgery, the household dogs searched round me. Search means? Yes, surrounded, moved around. Why? Because some new member had come. They had a group of friends, the dogs. So now they tried to see and find out who this new dog was. Chicky looked down at the noisy pack with dull eyes, and when put down, lay motionless on the carpet. The other dogs, after sniffing round him for a few seconds, decided he was an uninteresting object and ignored him. Why did they think he's an uninteresting object? He was not moving about looking and saying, what will they do? Right? They can't play with him. So he becomes. They just leave him and ignore him. I made up a bed for him in a warm loose box next to the one and the other dogs slept. For 2 days, I kept an eye on him, giving him no food but plenty of water. Okay, stop here. No food, only water. At the end of the second day, he started to show some interest. When did he start showing interest? Sita When did he start showing interest? At the end of the second day. First day, second day, first 2 days, no food, only water, and he was totally motionless. At the end of the second day, there was a slight improvement in his health. Then, and on the third day, he began to whimper. Whimper means? Whimper when he heard the dogs in the yard. Whimper is what? That crying sound that dogs make, no? I don't make that sound, but that same crying sound that they make, that is whimpering. So why do you think he must be whimpering, seeing the dogs? He also wanted to go. Yes, but when I opened the door, Ricky trotted out and was immediately encouraged by Joe. Trotted out means kind of hop karke aana. And he was encouraged by Joe the greyhound and his friends. Okay, encouraged means totally surrounded by. Greyhound is this dog. And you can see the next image. Over there is long dog, which big one, a thin long dog. That is her play. After rolling him over and thoroughly inspecting him, the dogs moved off down the corridor. Vicky followed them, rolling slightly with his surplus fat, because then he had not become agile and healthy, so but he still followed them and tried to do it. Later that day, I was present at feeding time. I watched while dry stand slot the food into the bowls. So dry stand कौन होगा? Employee का जो भी helper जो food देने का काम करता है. There was the usual headlong rush, followed by the sounds of high-speed eating. Every dog knew that if he fell behind the others, he was liable to have some competition for the last part of the meal. So तक क्या हुआ?
वो जल्दी सारे डेट के वो खाना है ना खत्म हो जाए किसी कुत्ते लोग आप
Yes. अरे वो खत्म हो गया तो दूसरे dogs आएंगे तो उससे अच्छा तुम खुद ही खत्म करो so they used to eat fast. When they had finished, Tricky took a walk round the shining pools, picking casually inside one or two of them. Next day, an extra bowl was put out for him, and I was pleased to see him jostling his way towards it. Jostling means he was happy having birds. From then on, his progress was rapid. Rapid means fast. He had no medicinal treatment of any kind, but all day he ran about with the dogs, joining in their friendly scrimmages. Scrimmages are what? The playing and the fighting and the running around. That is all the scrimmages or the activities basically that comes. He discovered the joys of being bowled over. Bowled over means something that is unexpected. And that time you are bowled over. Or being bowled over, tramped on, and squashed every few minutes. Tramped on means stepped on by the other dogs and he played and pushed and squashed every few minutes. He became an accepted member of the gang, an unlikely, silky little object among the shaggy crew. A silky little object because this was the dog of a rich lady. So he must be of a high breed, and the others must be normally regular dogs. So that's why they are saying silky little object among the shaggy crew, fighting like a tiger for his share at meal times, and hunting rats in the old hen house at night. So he used to do all this with the other dogs. What was it? Fighting like a tiger for his share at meal times and rats in the old hen house. He had never had such a time in his life. All the while, Mrs. Pumphrey hovered anxiously in the background, ringing a dozen times a day for the latest bulletin. So, almost a dozen times a day she used to keep calling. Calling for what? To get the latest news, bulletin. I dodged the questions. Dodge means I avoided the questions about whether his cushions were being turned regularly or scurried on according to the weather. But I was able to tell her that the fellow was out of danger and convalescing rapidly. Convalescing means recovering. Okay. So why did he dodge those particular questions? Yes, because that is not that was important. What he needed for healing was not the cushions, right? And probably that's not what even the vet must have been doing with him. So that's why he avoided answering that. But what did he tell? You don't worry, your dog is recovering. Now, the word convalescing seemed to do something to Mrs. Pumphrey. She started to bring brown fresh eggs, 2 dozens at a time. 2 dozen to 6 full run. I told you that you are saying 6 dozen, it is 2. Okay, So MCQs में आएगा 6 dozen, 2 dozen, 8 dozen, 4 dozen. So she started sending eggs 2 dozen at a time, build up daily strength. For a happy period, my partners and I had 2 eggs each for breakfast. But when the bottles of wine began to arrive, the real possibilities of the situation began to dawn on the household. So means when the wine started coming, we realized dawn on the household means we all started realizing what that all this was for Tricky. And the wine was for what purpose? To enrich Tricky's blood. Okay, that's why we are saying the word convalescing seemed to do something. Because now she felt he's fine. So if he's fine, then I can keep giving him everything that I used to. It was to enrich Tricky's blood. Lunch became a ceremonial occasion with 2 glasses of wine with coke and several during the meal. This used to be eaten by the big and see this picture. So nice. People hardly believed it when the brandy came in to put a final edge on Ricky's constitution. Ricky's constitution means his health. So now what did she start saying? For a few nights, the fine spirit referring to the brandy, was rolled around, inhaled, and reverently drunk. There's a way to drink it, probably was to first inhale it and then you roll it around your tongue and then. So these people used to have. They were days of deep content. Content is satisfaction. They were all by content. It was blind. Yes, and brandy also. They were days of deep content, starting well with the extra egg in the morning, improved and sustained by the midday wine, and finishing luxuriously round the fire with the brandy. Brandy, no, usually it's had when it's cold. So it keeps you warm. So that's why they have said that luxuriously around the fire with them. It was a temptation to keep Tricky on as a permanent guest. But I knew Mrs. Pumphrey was suffering, and after a fortnight, felt compelled means forced, to phone and tell her that the little dog had recovered and was awaiting correction. इसका क्या मतलब है? It was a temptation to keep Tricky on as a permanent guest. They wanted to keep Tricky so that they can get the eggs by and then. Yes, so that those supplies keep coming regularly, but then he called her up and within minutes, about 30 feet of gleaming black metal drew up outside the surgery. What is this 30 feet of gleaming black car? Yes, the limousine. The chauffeur means the driver. Was it pronounced? Right. Sure. Chauffeur. Was it pronounced? Chauffeur. The chauffeur opened the door, and I could just make out the figure of Mrs. Pumphrey, almost lost in the interior. Lost because it was such a huge car. And Mrs. Pumphrey might not have been such a big lady. She might have been short and very petty. So it seemed that it was lost in the interior. क्या बोलता है? दर देख के क्या बोलता है? दर देख. Her hands were tightly clasped in front of her lips trembled. Oh, Mr. Harriet, do tell me the truth. Is he really better? Clasp now means what? Do I know? Clasp means? ऐसा. Yes. And what was that other word? Drum. Yeah, okay. You wring your hands when you wash your hands. That doesn't mean this is hand wash. You wring your very wash. Okay. So, is he really better? Yes, he's fine. There's no need for you to get out of the car. I'll go and fetch him. I walked through the house into the garden. A mass of dogs was hurtling round. Hurtling means running round and round the lawn. And in their midst, ears flapping, tail waving, was the little golden figure of Chicky. So you see, Chicky has those long ears, no? So when he was running and coming, his ears were flapping and his tail was waving, wagging. Was the little golden figure of Chicky. In 2 weeks, he had been transformed into a light. Light means strong, muscular, graceful. Into how do you pronounce? L-I-T-H-E. What is pronounced? Light. Hard muscled animal. He was keeping up well with the pack. Pack means yes, with a group of other dogs. That's the pack of dogs. Stretching out in great bounds, his chest almost brushing the ground. He went straight. Very flexible and agile. I carried him back along the passage to the front of the house. The chauffeur was still holding the car door open, and when he saw his mistress, he took off my arms in a tremendous leap and sailed into Mrs. Pumpkin's lap. She gave a startled "Ooh!" Startled means surprised and shocked. Oh. And then had to defend herself as he swarmed over her, licking her face and barking. Defend herself, why? Because he was all over her, swarmed over, because even he had been missing her, no? So he was totally all over her that she had to defend herself. During the excitement, I helped the chauffeur to bring out the beds, toys, cushions, coats, and bowls, none of which had been used. As the car moved away, Mrs. Pumpkin leaned out of the window. Tears shone in her eyes. Shone means shine. Shone is the past participle of shine. Her lips trembled, so she was very happy to see Chicky back to health. Oh, Mr. Harriet, she cried, how can I ever thank you? This is a triumph of spirituality. Thanks to you. See the meaning of this happy energy. The back of muscular feeling in the lower back part of the back. Regime described course of exercise and diet, destroyed worried surgery scene. A place where a doctor, dentist or veterinary surgeon treats the patients, feels like a clinic. Scrimmage, rough or confused struggle, but balancing, recovering from illness and life gets it feels then showing next class we start with tenses competence. SP, what is this here? SP is what? Simple present won't be fine, vice. Wait a minute, I'll tell you the answers. You'll check and see. First verb tell me posture. I'll read out the answers here. First verb is posture. Cost. COST. Okay. So first one I've written past, present, and future. No. So cost, costed. At least one part of your only tell. No. Costed. Next. What? Simple present बोलो. Simple present बोल. Cost. Cost. Costed also okay because if it is costed you costed will be past. you said past, no?
अच्छा
So he has to say present.
हाँ तो सही
So that will be costs or cost. Any.
ना मैम से गलत गया है
हमारे simple past. तो correct करना उसको. Give your pen with you. दोनों एक पेन के लिए.
मेरा इसमें
नहीं है गवर्नमेंट एग्जाम को एचपी वगैरह वो सब देखने चाहिए
So cost. Cost. Why? Well, now you've not done the work at all. No, after rate banana, adjust. Why you doing? If then you tell, so you'll have to tell present continuous. No past continuous. Also,
present continuous this costing
cost.
will have cost
Had been costing.
and cost
Has been cost. One work done. Next is drink.
past simple past and
Costing.
simple present
Drinks. What are you
drink it drinks me drink आएगा
Drinks or drink?
oh
He drinks, they drink. What have you written but?
nonsense
Drinks only? What's your done? What's it's
one concept
will be drinking. ध्यान दो ना तुम लोग.
drinking अच्छा
Next.
बोल ये ये had run
Will have.
has
Will have drunk. No, now you have to say past perfect continuous. So had been drinking. Correct it and recite it down. Had been drinking.
has been
Will have been drinking. Okay. Past, future perfect continuous. Will have been. ठीक से लिखो गलत है तो. Was continuous. No. After future present. Final times. Then
was fighting
right. Transform.
will have
Had been had. Has been. Will have been fighting.
drink
Next.
drink अरे ये अच्छे तो will bring
Was is will be
oh we had
has. Okay, have what brought or has. Has हो गया उसका ना future. Will have brought. Have been brought.
bring
Have been
will have been bringing
next.
answer was will continue
Will have been bringing something. Next word is
link का any place ये place
नहीं किया.
मैंने की
सेंटेंस भी आता है
मैंने सेंटर
Indian कौन चाहिए पूछ रहा है.
लंग
Flung.
इसको
Flings. Very flings. Next. Was present. Next.
will be taking
And past. Will have been. Will have done.
had been taking
Has been done. Will have been done. Flinging. It's okay. Now check your work. After that, you give it to me. Which incomplete है तो complete करो and tell me. Once it's completed and check, you have rectified your mistakes. Okay. Oh. It's simple fast. All covered in these two, no?
I'm going to go take the
And the link of the day, no, I mean,
मैं दोनों PVC सब लिखता PVC
also.
But did you saw that Iran was bombing at Israel at Iran was
What about it?
Israel was like taking over Palestine, so there was no support from Palestine. So there is no support. So at Israel thought he was winning. So then Iran gave gift to all the Muslims that at Iran was bombing at Israel. Iran blew whole hospital where all the people were hospital.
This happens sometimes.
On Eid only, this year.
Lives schedule.
No, he destroyed the whole Palestine. He was getting repaid. He was getting paid what he had done. By Iran.
Rest of you can take your break. You want to go. Tera देखो. Okay. Yes, sir. Even costing on it, you will cost the house. Even if it costing a house, you will have costing.
Cost of house.
What is he will cost? What is he will have costing? We will buy it will have. he drank a bottle of water is okay. He had he is posting how he can post how he drinks a bottle of water. इसमें अगर वो भी खाली लेता he fought with my brother. I thought he brought the science project. Now the thing he has written only those books. He will be posting on. He will have posting anything. Very good. I thought it must be if you're not very easy. So you know
In our school में तो प्रेस वाला भी बहुत हमने वो स्टोरेज रूम में उनका क्लासेस बनाते हैं इसमें बिल्कुल
it must be doing that.
कभी भी अपने क्लास में निकल जाते हैं क्लास में खाली टीम से जितना है वो सब
In school, you are still falling short of space. अभी एक तो बाकी बचे कि वॉशरूम को छोड़ के छोटे क्लास
ऐसा हुआ ऐसे धीरे से बनाए और शाम को कुछ क्लास में इसको कुछ चेंज करते हैं
डांस करते
डांस में होता है तो डांस में
normally schools activities could be of less knowledge. What are the child? And 16 hours. So that plus your bus fare. 3,000 for the entire year. Or it is quarterly. They must be taking 3 months. For 3 months it might be 8,000 for the bus. And they will stay apart from it.
and too much. If I go by bus, but 1 hour, I go by.
So that bus is faster. Spike from it. So really benefit.
इसमें वो ऐसा होता था कि जो भी पीछे बैठा रहता था सबको यहाँ पे तोड़ रहे तो पीछे लेकिन हम लोग मजा बस हम लोग ही बैठे रहते थे और ऐसे रहे हम लोग के एरिया से और भी काफी अच्छा है
You must be having stops. Anyway, you know, for achieving.
यूनिवर्सिटी भी है हर सीट पे दो
Exactly.
है तो पीछे में लंबा वाला सीट है ना उसमें लोग पूरी जगह और उसके आगे दो सीटर वाला ओके तो आगे वाला
हम मार रहे हैं उसको तो अभी नहीं मार रहा नहीं उसको तो अभी मैं ही मार रही हूँ मेरे को ये रिव्यू करना है सुधर तुमने क्या किया
आपको पता नहीं क्लास में कुछ ना कुछ छुट्टी काट चुका है
हाँ वो मैंने भी देखा मैंने तो काटा doing something now
अब ये काट रहा है मेरे को ओके
it's I can give
हम मैं नहीं
देखो आप
तो पहले
ये देखो ना
One side करके
name also. Someone you have to redo this now. What you have written, anything you have written. Here also see, will have clean.
already not there could be said will have your
एक मिनट देखते हैं उसके कलर की लास्ट वन
will have
will cling, will be clinging, will have clung, will have been clinging. What is this? So all tenses together is written. I got it. Cling is clinging. And here you made a mistake, no? Can. Now you have to redo properly here. Neatly I want it again. Just a bit. वो भी नहीं रहेगा थर्ड टाइम करना पड़ेगा बट डू इट कैन नो यू डू इट दिस टाइम once only you do it
देखो मैं मार रहा हूँ
मैं तो इधर हूँ मैम कितना बोल रहा है
नहीं बट उसको ना भी फिनिश करना
मैं वो किया पहले फिर मैं ऐसे बैठा हूँ पैर को
दोनों पे दो नहीं करके बैठे सेपरेट फिनिश
मैं ऊपर आपसे पास
okay so open your tenses now okay this one
I'm Nelson Matera
इतना मार दिया
वापस आ गया देख पा okay now in this what we do first part I will read and explain it and then you all read para by para and then explain okay we are not lengthy or chapter
मैं पहले हम छोटे थे ना हमको लेट्स मटेरियल
okay apartheid is a political system that separates people according to their race. Can you say which of these three countries made below had such political systems? So apartheid actually means apartness. So where the blacks and whites were treated separately, they were not treated equally on par. Have you heard of Nelson Mandela? Mandela and his African National Congress, that is ANC, spent a lifetime fighting against apartheid. Mandela had to spend 30 years in prison. Finally, democratic elections were held in South Africa in 1994. And Mandela became the first black president of a new nation. So when he became president, he was around 75, 76 years old. After fighting the struggle and almost after 3 centuries. Yeah, so that is 300 years of 300 years, but after 300 years of racial domination of blacks. In this extract from his autobiography, we don't know. Mandela speaks about the historic occasion, the inauguration. Can you guess what this occasion might be? Check your guess with this news item from the KBSE of 10th May 1994. So inauguration means his swearing in ceremony. जब कोई minister oath लेता है ना, that हाँ now I'm going to be president, and he takes an oath, no, where he shows his loyalty towards his country. So this is that occasion जब उसको swearing in करवा रहे He's taking his promises of being the next president, and he will be faithful and he'll be fair, all that. So this was a news item. Headline was Mandela becomes South Africa's first black president. Mandela has become South Africa's first black president after more than 3 centuries of white rule. 3 centuries means 300 years. Mr. Mandela's African National Congress (ANC) party won 252 of the 400 seats in the first democratic elections of South Africa's history. So 252 means more than 50%. So it was such a clear-cut victory for him. The inauguration ceremony took place in the Union Buildings Amphitheatre in Pretoria today. So where did it take place? In this place called Pretoria. Union Buildings Amphitheatre, Union Buildings is just like something like the Parliament. Like amphitheatre there. Yes.
Okay.
No, just like it is at Central Park or steps. Where rounded. You know those Rome which is you can see?
Yes.
Huh? Yes, the Colosseum where it's round and then around you have buildings. That's an amphitheatre and it's open. Attended by politicians and dignitaries. Dignitaries are all the senior people from more than 140 countries around the world. Never again will this beautiful land experience the oppression of one by another, said Nelson Mandela in his address, that now that period of oppression has come to an end.
हम तो फिर अभी president कौन है?
अभी कौन है?
हम पर एक यूट्यूबर है, वो मतलब साउथ अफ्रीका में डेवलपमेंट कर,
हाँ
यूट्यूबर नाम
क्या?
एक यूट्यूबर है, वो है ना मतलब साउथ अफ्रीका में अलग अलग कंट्रीज में जाके वो डेवलपमेंट करा रहा है, विलेजेस वगैरह सब.
यूट्यूबर now we don't know how far number chargeable.
अच्छा
क्या
बना.
वो masterpiece करना है.
मैं एक पेज में स्ट्रीट स्टैम्प्स लगाया था.
What is used with?
I think I've heard of it, but
हम वो डोनेट करते चीजों को साउथ अफ्रीका.
Masterpiece करना है.
the biggest fan. Who are the biggest fan?
Masterpiece.
हैं?
Masterpiece.
हाँ,
अपने से करना.
क्या? अरे मैं तो मिस्टर बीस्ट की बात कर रहा हूँ, वो कौन हेल्प कर रहा है साउथ अफ्रीका? हम बोलते जो हेल्प कर रहा है साउथ अफ्रीका को, वो प्रेसिडेंट है.
नहीं प्रेसिडेंट नहीं, वो फैन है.
अच्छा, वो बोल रहे हैं कि जो प्रेसिडेंट है वो मिस्टर बीस्ट का फैन है साउथ अफ्रीका.
और मैंने देखा था वो masterpiece करना है.
ओके.
Maybe not. Maybe it's like a social service that he might be doing or for a पटरा होगा villages. I don't know. कर रहा है वो अच्छी बात. Okay. Jubilant seeds on the streets of Pretoria. Jubilant means victorious. On the streets of Pretoria followed the ceremony with blacks, whites, and colored. Colored still is more.
Black
Yes, the browns and all, or the red areas. So black होगा, white होगा, जो white black white नहीं है वो colored. Celebrating together. More than 1 lakh South African men, women, and children of all races sang and danced with joy. We now start with the first parallel. Then we go right and so the past we take pay attention. Peace, voice, yes. Besieged is to be surrounded closely by. Besieged by enemies and politicians. Inauguration would be the largest effort of the national South Africa. Ceremonies took place in the lovely sandstone amphitheatre of British. Now, first intro, what is the date? 10th May. Hmm? And which is the year? 1990. Okay. I was presently besieged by dignitaries, means I was all surrounded by dignitaries, all senior officials who had come for the inauguration. Inauguration is his swearing in ceremony as president, was officially being made the president. And the inauguration would be the largest gathering ever of international leaders on South African soil. Where did this take place? Sandstone amphitheater formed by the Union buildings in Pretoria. Union buildings kya hai? Just like their parliament. So it was in the sandstone amphitheater. Then iska matlab kya hai? For decades this had been the seat of white supremacy. Means all these years it were the whites who were ruling. Whites were supposed to be the yes, like the royalty who were the rulers. Now it was a site of rainbow gathering. Why? Because now a black president was being appointed. So rainbow gathering of different colors. So rainbow gathering of different colors means are we here talking about their dress color and all that? No, we are talking about their skin color because Africans were differentiated only because of their color of the skin. Of different colors and the nation for the installation of South Africa's first democratic non-racial government. Till now it had been racial. Who was he accompanied by? His daughter Zenango. And then first who was sworn in? Mr. Dekler as second deputy president. Means main president go ho gaya, then you have first deputy and then you will have the second deputy. That is the third in charge. So on the podium he was sworn in, then after that Thabo Petty. He was sworn in as the first deputy. And then it was his turn. Whose turn? Nelson Mandela's. I pledge to obey and uphold the constitution means to obey the rules of the government and to respect, to keep its respect. I devote myself to the well-being of the Republic of Africa and its people. Now, the speech study will be.
We all of us do by our presence here, slowly and hope to give on liberty out of the experience of an extraordinary human disaster that lasted too long. Must be born a society of which all humanity will be proud.
Okay, so you're underlying this extraordinary human disaster. So why is he calling this an extraordinary human disaster? What was the disaster? Apartheid, racial discrimination. Okay. So he's saying that which lasted too long. How long did it last? 300 years, 3 centuries. Must be born a society of which all humanity is proud. So this is a key word here where he's referring to it as an extraordinary human disaster. Newborn liberty. Liberty means freedom. And next.
We who were out not so long ago have told we have today been given the rare privilege to be host to the nation of the world on our own soil. We thank all of our distinguished international guests for having come to take a possession with the people of our country of what is, after all, a common victory for justice, for peace, for humanity, dignity.
Human dignity. So he's saying we were outlaws, not so long ago. Outlaws on the side it's written. Because of its policy of apartheid, many countries had earlier broken off diplomatic relations with South Africa. Okay, so the blacks did not get the rights that they deserve to get. So you become an outlaw, like you are excluded from all normal things. Okay, so he's saying that we were outlaws and now we have the rights to our own dignity. Dignity means self-respect, because when you are not given your rights, even your self-respect is taken away. Then he's thanking all the distinguished guests, and this part underlined common victory for justice, for peace, for human dignity. Okay, so this is a victory for all of those blacks who have not been given their rights till now, who have been deprived of their rights, who have been deprived of their human dignity. Dignity is respect, self-respect. Okay, next.
We have at last achieved our political emancipation. We pledge ourselves to liberate all our people from the continuing bondage of poverty, deprivation, suffering, gender, and other discrimination. Never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by other. The sun shall never set on the glorious human achievement. Let freedom regain the God bless us.
So you think we have at last achieved a political emancipation. Emancipation means freedom. It's written on the side, freedom from restriction. Okay. We pledged ourselves to liberate. Liberate is to again free our people from the continuing bondage of poverty, deprivation, suffering, gender, and other discrimination. Means earlier they were being discriminated on the basis of their color, gender, what else? Race and other things. Poverty also, even based on money. Poverty is money, rich and poor. Never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another, because now the blacks have taken charge. So never will the whites be able to dominate the blacks from one. The sun shall never set on so glorious a human achievement. Means it is such a great achievement, and the sun shall never set means the sun will always shine on this great achievement. Let freedom reign. Reign means rule. Let freedom reign. Let freedom rule from now onwards. And God bless Africa. Now, next we are talking about the scene on that day. Okay, what happened after his swearing in?
A few moments later, we all lifted our eyes in awe as a spectacular array of South African jets, helicopters, and troop carriers roared in perfect formation over the Union fields. It was not only a display of pinpoint precision and military force, but a demonstration of the military's loyalty to the democracy, to a new government that had been freely and fairly elected. Only moments before the highest generals of South African Defense Force and Police, their chests bedecked with ribbons and medals from days gone by, saluted me and pledged their loyalty. I was not unmindful of the fact that not so many years ago, they would not have saluted but arrested me. Finally, a chevron of Bala chest left a smoke trail on the black, red, green, blue, and gold of the new South African flag.
Okay. So here now he has made a mention of 1, 2, and 3 things. What are the 3 things? One is underlying the second line. Spectacular array of South African jets, helicopters, and troop carriers. Okay. So means what they did, you have those scenes where they are displaying those jets and all are displaying their skills in the sky. So, sorry, yeah, like Republic Day. So that's what started happening. Rolled in perfect formation over the buildings of the Union building. It was not only a display of pinpoint precision and military force, but a demonstration of the military's loyalty to democracy. So why was this being done? To show the army, navy, air force, whoever it is, the faithfulness, okay, their loyalty towards the country. So the main purpose was that not only to display, one was to show their skills, and the second one was to show that we are always going to be loyal to our country, we will always serve our country. So this was one point. Second point that he is trying to make is that he is saying that there were those highest generals now because he was being appointed as president. So all the high senior officials were there. It's mentioned with their chests bedecked with ribbons. Underline that part. Chests bedecked with ribbons. वो क्या है? वो senior people, you know, in India, like they'll have those stars, or here they'll have those, you know, medals and all that. So all those senior officials have. So he's saying that now these people were showing respect to me, and I am not unmindful. See, underline this. I was not unmindful of the fact. Means I am also aware of the fact that these same people who are showing respect to me today, अगर पहले होता जब मैं president नहीं था, they wouldn't have shown this respect to me, but they would have put me in jail. They would have arrested me, like he was arrested for 30 years. Now the same people were showing respect to me. So this is the second point that he's making. And the third point, chevron of Impala jets. Underline that. Chevron of Impala jets left a smoke trail like we do even in India, where you have the saffron, white and green color smoke that is released by those jet planes. So here they didn't have saffron, white and green, but they had which colors? Black, red, green, blue and gold, which were the colors of the new South African flag. So what are the three things? You want to tell? What are the 3 points made here? Yes. Why were they doing that?
For showing faith in the country.
Yes, showing their loyalty to democracy. Yes, what was he aware of? That
People who went showing respect earlier, they don't respect right now. When
he was showing respect now. If it was earlier, they would not. If I was not being made president, then I wouldn't have got so much respect from them. And the third point, chevron क्या है? See on the side it's pattern in the shape of a V. So you'll have jets flying in this V shape. Like very often we see birds flying in that shape. Yes, leaving a smoke trail of which colors?
red, gold, blue, black.
Next,
The day was symbolized only by the playing of all the national anthems and the vision of participating. The Portuguese gathered and blacks in the old anthem of the Republic, although that neither could hear the lyrics of the anthem, it once despised. They would so know the words by heart. On the day of the inauguration, I was overwhelmed the sense of history in the first decade of the 20th century. This years after the Britain approached the war and before my own birth, the white-skinned peoples of South Africa passed their defenses and erected a system of racial domination against the dark-skinned peoples of their land. The structure created on the basis of one of the nationalist most
inhumane,
societies the world has been ever moved. Now, in the last decade of the 20th century, and my own aim for decade as a plan forever and based by one that reflects the rights and feelings of all peoples, regardless of the color of his.
So in this, what in the first panel he's saying that now the whites had to sing the national anthem of the blacks. Okay, पहले वो नहीं करते. And he's saying that they may not even be knowing the meaning of the lyrics, but they would soon understand the meaning of the lyrics and they would have to sing it also. So he was happy about that fact. Then he's saying, on the day of the inauguration, I was overwhelmed with a sense of history. Overwhelmed means I was very emotional thinking about the past. What is he saying? In the first decade of the 20th century, a few years after the bitter Anglo-Boer War and before my own birth, the white-skinned people of South Africa patched up their differences. Means, before he was born, okay, much before he was born, even the whites were divided. Okay, they used to dominate the blacks, but unme bhi differences रह गए थे. So now he's saying just sometime before I was born, even those whites जिनमें differences रहते थे, वो लोग एक साथ हो गए. तो अब क्या होने वाला है? The torture, the domination that the whites were facing, that is going to increase. Why? So मैं क्या बोल रही हूँ? क्या बोला मैंने?
वो जो अभी ब्लैक को भी फ्रीडम मिल गया ना.
Now,
जल्दी आ गया.
I think you're from the next IC.
Yes, exactly.
That जल्दी आ गई. हाँ. Either 7 to 6. Sometime. Okay. So how we were
So
in
when whites came in under the rule, the black came under the rule of this, because the black people population were more than the whites.
population नहीं. देख, suppose for example तुम लोग दोनों whites. Okay. And ये side में सब हम लोग जो बैठे हैं हम लोग blacks. ठीक है. तो हम लोग को dominate करते हो. लेकिन उन लोग के एक दूसरे में भी conflicts होते हैं. तुम लोग एक दूसरे के साथ भी झगड़ा करते हो, लेकिन हम लोग सबको dominate भी करते हो. तो अब क्या हो गया? Before his birth, he said that you're united, but हम लोग के differences खत्म हो गए. तो अगर तुम लोग के differences खत्म हो गए, तो तुम लोग हम लोग के ऊपर और ज़्यादा dominate करोगे ना, because you are united, you are stronger. Got it? Understood, no? So the whites united. They patched up their differences, he's saying. So he's saying that white-skinned people of South Africa patched up their differences and erected a system of racial domination against the dark-skinned people of their own land. Okay, that domination became even more because the whites also united. The structure they had formed, they had created, formed the basis of the harshest, most inhumane societies the world has ever known. So that was the worst system the world has ever known. Now in the 8th decade of the 20th century, and my own 8th decade as a man, means he was around 76 years old when he was made president. So 8th decade actually हो गया 80 years, 80 के बाद का. So but still because he's almost reaching 70, 80. Yeah. Change some. Earlier I don't know the year, but I think he was born sometime in 1915 or something. इसने mention किया है. हाँ. Yeah, before my birth, but the year is not mentioned. So I think that was around 1915 that he was born. हाँ, तो उसके 76 years के बाद he was made the president. That is, you can calculate अगर जो भी है, ठीक है, you don't calculate it to be that only. Now in 1994 he is made. He's being made the president. 1915 to 1994, वही होगा 76 years. Yeah,
1994 में independence भी मिला था.
हाँ. इंडिया को 1947 में मिला.
हाँ, 1944 president.
19 here it's not 94.
1994 अच्छा 94 वो 1944.
Okay, so he was 76 years old. So he's saying by 8th decade as a man, that system has been overturned forever. Which system? That system of apartheid, of racial discrimination, which he's saying was very harsh, which was very inhuman. Replaced by that, by one that recognized the rights and freedoms of all people, regardless of the color of their skin. इसमें कोई doubt है? You have no anything. Next panel.
That day had come about through the unimaginable sacrifice of thousands of my people, people whose suffering and courage can never be counted or repaid. I felt that day as I have gone so many other days that I was simply the sum of all those African patriots who had gone for me. That long and noble line ended and now began again with me. I was pained with that I was not able to thank them and that they were not able to see what their sacrifices had brought. The policies of apartheid created a deep and lasting wound in my country. In my country and my people, all of us will spend many years, if not generations, recovering from that profound hurt. But the decades of oppression and brutality and another unintended effect, and that was that it produced the olival taboos, the waters is the sheep police, the use of guns, the Bram pressures, the Robert Soquest of our time, men of such extraordinary courage, wisdom and generosity, that their life may never be known again. Perhaps it requires such depths of operation to create such heights of character. My country is rich in my opinion in the minerals of gems and that life beneath its soil. But I have always known that its greatest wealth is its people, finer and truer than the pure diamonds.
So now in that first para, what is he saying? He is thanking all the freedom fighters because that day had been brought about not only because of him. He is lucky that when he was alive, the country was free now. But he is thanking the efforts of all the freedom fighters. Okay, so that they had come about through the unimaginable sacrifices of thousands of my people. So all those people means those freedom fighters. And then he's also second point. He's saying I was paid not to be able to thank them because those people were no longer with them. Those people have already died. They fought for the country and died. So he's saying I'm feeling sorry that I'm not able to thank all those people. Then he's saying the policy of apartheid created a deep and lasting wound. Wound matlab a deep and lasting wound means, and then he's also saying that it will take many years for us to recover. अगर तुम लोग को एक scratch खाली आएगा, scratch फटाफट ठीक हो जाएगा. But what if it's a worse wound, burn हो गया समझो skin. How long it takes to recover? After it recovers, also you're going to have to put medicines, or even after it dries up, scar रहेगा. That scar might go after so many years, right? So that That's why he's saying that this policy has created a deep and lasting wound, which will take time for us to heal also. Because the wound is so bad. At one point he's saying. That is a negative thing that he's saying. Then वो positive point बोलता है. Positive point क्या बोलता है? That it created all these great people. Because of so much difficulty that we had, that such great people were created. Like our country, because our country didn't have freedom, we had great people like Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, Nehru, Gandhiji, and all of those, right? So, and he's saying that another thing, underlying this on the right hand side, their like may never be known again. ऊपर का line, first line. Their like may never be known again means people like them will never be known. There will never be people like that we will come across. Then another important line, perhaps second line, perhaps it requires such depths of oppression to create such heights of character. क्यों? क्योंकि इतना ज्यादा तकलीफ हुआ इसके लिए ऐसे ग्रेट लोग क्रिएट हुए क्योंकि उनको वो डिटर्मिनेशन आ गया टू फाइट अगेंस्ट द सिस्टम. Then the next point that he is making is my country is rich in all minerals and all that, all precious gems and all. But what is most precious is my people. Okay, the which is even richer and more precious than the best gems in the world. Okay. Now left side I will tell you what underline. First underline that on the top it's written unimaginable sacrifices. For second line there. Then second last line same para. I was not able to thank them. Then next para deep and lasting wound. First line deep and lasting wound. Then एक line छोड़ के next line profound hurt. Okay, profound hurt is deep hurt. Okay. Then you underline next unintended effect. Unintended effect. Okay. Now one question. See, इसमें क्या वो बोल रहा है? It created the Oliver Tambos. Now if you see down वो जो images है, उसमें name क्या है? Oliver Tambo, Walter Sisulu, Chief Luthuli, Yusuf Dadu, Brian Frischbischoffs, Robert Sobowitz. Now उसने इसमें सब केवल SS क्यों ऐड किया? Why is he added an S everywhere after every name?
It may be to denote like वैसे ही लोग.
He's there. You're there. Amit.
Yes, ma'am.
उसको नीचे में. And without only is there.
Because there's many people.
हाँ. इसको किया होगा. Your window was hidden and you didn't speak. When did you join?
Ma'am, now the few minutes.
Now you joined.
No, ma'am. From the starting, I was there.
Acha. Next time if you come, no, just speak, say a
Ma'am,
hello.
I thought you were there because normally वो दिखता है ना बाजू में, like it has
No,
showed
actually
that.
it was all one window only. Now we have extended it after we heard your voice. Okay. So next time you join, कुछ hello and good evening, कुछ तो बोल तो we know you come.
हाँ ma'am, like हाँ ma'am.
I'm going
See, he didn't do his homework, so he wants to know इसने किया है क्या?
नहीं किया है.
Yeah, सब तेरे से
अरे मैंने भी किया है.
student लिया था, completed नहीं था, वो भी कुछ भी. This what is it cost one and
he costed
he costed the house.
वो एक
He
तरह
was costing the house. He was costing the house. But he वही कितने सारे sentences लिखे थे जिसका कुछ meaning ही नहीं है.
I'm बाकी सब तो ठीक.
Last one you read it. You copy.
I'm last one. वही नंबर नहीं.
Okay, so Almay, what was it that you said?
Yes ma'am. So it was like Chief Lucias, Oliver Tambos, and Walter Silvers. So it means that he wants to denote that there are multiple people like them.
Yes.
So like unke jaise bahut sare. Many people like them.
Exactly. Many people like them. Like if you have see cricket and there's Sachin Tendulkar who plays very well. And if there are other good players like Sachin Tendulkar, what will you say? These are the Sachin Tendulkars of our team. Correct? तो उसमें S हम लोग add करते हैं. So that's why he's added an S that created people like them. Okay? Yeah. And next page, all have underlined. Next page, what is he saying? It requires that depths of oppression, that line is important. Depths of oppression to create such heights of character. And the next part he's trying to say is that the most precious are in my country are my people. Oh, and next para, next pyramid. Huh?
कैसे पढ़ा है
आज की कौन पढ़ रहा था?
ये तो बड़ा
मैं पढ़ता हूँ ये
नहीं, then I'll read.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, should I read?
Yes.
Courage, wisdom, and generosity, that their like may never be known again. Perhaps it requires such depth of oppression to create such heights of character. My country is rich in minerals and gems that lie beneath its soil. But I have always known that its greatest wealth is its people, finer and truer than the purest diamonds. It is from these comrades in the struggle that I learned the meaning of courage, time and again. I have seen men and women risk and give up their lives for an idea. I have seen men stand up to attacks and torture without breaking, showing a strength and resilience that defies the imagination. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin or his background or his religion. People must learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to human heart than its opposite. Even in the grimmest times in prisons, when my comrades and I were pushed to our limits, I would see a glimmer of humanity in one of the scars, perhaps just for a second. But it was enough to reassure me and keep me going. Man's goodness is a flame that can be hidden but never extinguished.
Okay. Let's go. That part we read. Okay, so now what is he saying? It is from these comrades. Who are the comrades? People who are with you, your colleagues. So who are his comrades? The other freedom fighters. Yes, the other people who are in the jail with him or others who fought for the country. So he's saying that I have seen people risk their lives and give up their lives for an idea. So what was the idea now? To get freedom, to fight for their rights. And he's saying that I have seen men stand up to attacks and torture without breaking, means without giving up. They still stay strong, showing a strength and resilience. Underline this. Resilience that defies the imagination. Okay. So these people who fight for the country are so resilient. See, resilience on the side, the ability to deal with any kind of hardship and recover from its side effects. Okay, from its effects. So they have been, means you can say that उनको झेलने की capacity, okay, इतनी थी, which defied imagination. Means हम लोग उतना imagine भी नहीं कर सकते कि वो लोग इतना bear कर सकते. Okay, they are so resilient. Then next point he's trying to say is, underline this. It was not the absence, courage was not the absence of fear, but triumph over it. Means, if you're courageous, doesn't mean you say that, oh, I'm not afraid of anything. You will be afraid. But next line says, the brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. You have to overcome that fear. So courage is not absence of fear, but courage is overcoming the fear, conquering the fear, winning over the fear. That is true courage. Then next para, what is he trying to say is that when you're born, okay, when you're born, are you born with any kind of hatred towards any? No, nothing like that. As you grow up, you are taught कि नहीं ये अच्छा है, ये अच्छा नहीं है, ये लोग अच्छे हैं, ये लोग बुरे. Okay, you are made to thought like that, to think like that. So he is saying that when you're born with love in your heart, but you are made to hate. So you are taught to hate. So he is saying if a person can be taught to hate, then why can't he be taught to love? And he is saying that on the contrary, teaching someone to love will be easier. Why easier? Because loving is something that comes naturally. Love is something that is there in our hearts. And hate is something that we are taught. समझा? क्या समझा? बोल ज़्यादा you will tell him he will know, he will understand it. उसका attachment. नहीं इधर बोल. अलग से मत बोल. You say in any language that he understands.
People who were born are born with love. Okay, they are not. They are when they grow up, they are taught how to hate other people. So the Nelson Mandela said, why people are born to hate? Why can't they love people when
They are taught to hate, so why can't they
love them?
बस इतना ही है कि हम लोग को हेट करने को कोई सिखा सकता है, तो हम लोग को लव करने को क्यों नहीं कोई सिखा सकता है? तो हेट क्यों करने की जरूरत है? हेट क्यों करने का?
आप लोग बुरे लोग को
हाँ?
वेट करना चाहिए.
नहीं, बुरा कोई भी नहीं होता है. That's what he is saying, that even in the person who had children.
हाँ तो कुछ नहीं क्या मतलब कर इधर कुछ हाथ दिया
क्या हाथ ऊपर रखो दोगे? So he is saying even in my jailer, like will he think of his jailer as being good? But he is saying I saw a glimmer of humanity even in the one of those. What did he say? In the jailers, what did he say that? Guards.
I have just
In the guards. So even in them, even in a person like that, he saw a glimmer of humanity in him. Because nobody is bad, only bad. कोई कुछ गलत भी करता है तो there is some good in him that is left. So he feels that a person can be made to love and a person can be taught to remove all kinds of hatred. Okay? Hating born होके नहीं सीखते ना, born होने के बाद you are taught. दुनिया से
कार्टून शो है, एक ये एनिमेशन है, वो मतलब सीरीज है, ठीक है, उसमें ना एक बंदा होना ना, एक एल्फ होता है और मतलब नॉर्मल पीपल होते हैं. वो एल्फ लोग पहले अपने ट्रू फॉर्म नहीं दिखाते, वो लोग पीपल बन के रहते हैं. वो लोग को एक चीज होती है कलेक्ट करके उन लोग वो लोग अपना ट्रू फॉर्म दिखाते हैं उससे. फिर वो लोग एल्फ बन जाते हैं. तो एक बंदा होता है वो उन लोग को बातों में ही उनको इंसान बना देते हैं एल्फ से. वो लोग हेट करते हैं. अच्छा एल्फ लोग. हाँ, फिर उसको वो सिखाया लव कैसे कर.
हाँ, so then they transform ऐसे. So see, they were bad. They hated humans and they also started learning to like humans because he did something good for them. भलाई करो, भलाई नहीं. Okay, understood this part? If a man's goodness is a flame that can be hidden but never extinguished. The next will be your reading.
In life, every man has twin obligations. Obligations to his family, to his parents, to his wife and children. And he has an obligation to his people, his community, his country. In a civil and humane society, each man is able to fulfill those obligations according to his own inclination and abilities. But in a country like South Africa, it was almost impossible for a man of my birth and color to fulfill both of these obligations. In South Africa, a man of color who attempted to live as a human being was punished and isolated. In South Africa, a man who tried to fulfill his duty to his people and inevitably ripped from his family and his home and was forced to live a life apart, a twilight existence of secrecy and rebellion. I did not in the beginning choose to place my people above my family, but in attempting to serve my people, I found that I was prevented from fulfilling my obligations as a son, a brother, a father, and a husband.
So here what is he saying? Each person has two obligations. Obligations also could mean duties. What are those two duties? One is your duty or responsibility towards your family. Okay? Your family, your relatives, for you. And the second is your responsibility towards your country. So he's saying that in a free country, a person can perform both those duties. You can take care of your country also, and you can take care of your family also. But he's saying in such kind of a system of discrimination, he's saying I realized that I could not do both. If I had to take care of my family, I could not take care of my country. Or if I had to take care of my country, my family was ignored. Why was that so?
Because the country he seems like his country is his whole family.
No. See, he's saying that if I would fight for my country, okay, means for his freedom, for the blacks. Okay. तो वो अगर system के against जा रहा है, right? If we going like a freedom fighters, why did they fight? They fought for freedom. And did they do anything wrong? Were they criminals? No. But they were put in jail, no? Right? So he's saying, if I would fight for my people, why he could not take care of his family is because if he goes against the system is going to be against him, the authority. तो अगर लोगों को पता चलेगा कि इसका family कौन है, they are going to first and foremost go and destroy his family. Correct? That's his weakness, no? So that's why he's saying I had to live a twilight existence. What is twilight? You know, morning जब भी sunrise पूरी तरह से नहीं होता है, थोड़ा सा light आता है sun का. That is twilight. Twilight existence means like a life, a secret life where nobody knows who I am, nobody knows what my name is, nobody knows where my family is, to keep them protected, basically. So that's why he's saying, अगर मैं मेरे country के लिए fight कर रहा था, तो मैं अपने लोगों का क्या नहीं. If he goes and meets them also, they might come to know and the authorities might kill them. Okay, so he's saying that's in this para, that's what he's saying. That I could not perform both the functions, and in a free country, a free human being can do both. But in my case, I could not. So that's why he think I could not fulfill my responsibility as a brother, as a husband, as a father, because I was torn away from them. I could not be with them just for their protection. Okay. Next, so we read.
I was not born with a hunger to be free. I was born free.
Underline this. I was not born with a hunger to be free. I was born free. Why should you have a hunger to be free when you are already free? Why should you want to be free? Then you are born free. Right? So he is saying this. Free in every way I could know. Then
Free to run in the field near my mother's hut. Free to swim in the clear stream that ran through my village. Free to roast
meal is a corn. Okay.
under the stars and ride the broad backs of slow moving bulls. as long as I obeyed my father and abide my customs of my tribe, I was not troubled by the laws of man or God.
What is he saying? As far as I abided by the rules. Like now, if you're in some place, like say if his sister is in a hostel, hostel के कुछ rules रहेंगे, या even if it's your house will have certain rules. As far as you listen to your parents, what they are saying, or his sister listening to the hostel warden, they will have no problem. But when will you have problems? When you start rebelling. Correct? अगर father बोलेगा, hey, 9:30 तक घर पे आ जा, you start saying, नहीं 9:30 को क्यों आओ? मैं 10 o'clock को. Or if your father says, anybody, any roommate says, come do this, study at this time, don't play. You say, नहीं, मेरे को खेलना ही है, मैं पढ़ाई. What is going to happen? You're getting yourself in trouble, right? So that's what he's saying. As far as I obeyed my father and followed the rules of the tribe, I was not troubled by the laws of man or God. Trouble कब होगा? Then you start with it.
And इसमें the laws of man or God.
Laws of man or God means whatever is told to them. Like you're living with your community. Your community says do this, you follow that. Basically, that's what it is.
तो फिर इसमें जो man पे है ये verify laws of man.
Yes. It would also imply, it could also be connected to the rights because the father or the community is saying, no, don't do this, otherwise you will be in trouble. So that's also connected to the rights. So basically, it's the rule of the land. Okay, let's start out.
It was only when I began to learn that I wanted freedom to life. When I discovered I was younger that my freedom had already been taken, that I began to hunger for it. At first, as a student, I wanted freedom to be for myself, transparent freedom, being able to stay up at night, eat what I need, and do what I choose. Later, as a young man, I able to follow the basic and unlimited freedom to achieve the potential of learning and finding, planning, and having fun. The freedom not to be obstructed at all, right?
Okay. So here what is he saying that in my childhood, I felt that I was free. मेरे को समझना नहीं था. मुझे मोटा था, मैं मोटा था. He said ना, right, the broad backs and the roast mealies under the sun. मुझे लगा freedom है मुझे and I was happy. But when did I realize that I was not free? First is as a student. See over there. See that second time he said that freedom was an illusion. Illusion क्या होता है? Imaginary, which is not real. So he's saying, I realized that my boyhood freedom was an illusion. I was not really free. I felt I was free. When did he realize that? As a young man, when he became a student, okay, and then as he grew up as a young man in Johannesburg, because why? As a student, he realized कि मुझे proper उसको कोई college में education चाहिए था, उसको वहाँ पे नहीं admission मिला होगा because he's a black. Or as a young man in Johannesburg, when he grew older, उसको job चाहिए होगा, earning my potential means earning the best that I can. उसको कहीं पे boys and that's part of we have potential. Yes, still by families. Okay, so he as a young man उसको कोई job चाहिए होगा. He realized कि मेरे को job नहीं मिल रहा है या मुझे job तो मिल गया लेकिन because I'm a black I'm not getting enough salary. Knowledge भी नहीं, probably उससे capable ये किसी और से capable रहा होगा and that person because he's a white might be paid more. So that's when he's saying I realized कि मुझे मेरा ये freedom नहीं है. It's only an illusion. Your needs deep, strong desires. I know
मैम इसके पास बुक है मेरे पास
You wanted Nelson Mandela now, so I'm doing it. तूने बोला next class, next week exam है. अब तुम कर लोगे ये बाकी का नहीं किया तो चलेगा. If you manage it, so
मैम एक सेकंड मैम कब लिख सकते हैं अरे इंग्लिश आएगी
next week भी मिलेगा ना.
20 चल रहा है 20 चल रहा है
अंदर डाल.
तो कहाँ बोल रहे
डाल दिया.
हाँ मैम डाला था फिर मैंने भी
You tell you want to do it or you will do it if you have it in the next week before the next
मैम
class.
एक टाइम चेक कर ले
देखो फटाफट. Last time when we saw it was not only one day. I think at least
Now
3 days, 3 days the exam. Whenever Tuesday we had some. So we'll do this. We'll continue with this on next Tuesday, and we will do tenses. बाकी फिर जो तेरा बच्चा वो खुद ही कर सकता है. हाँ? Somebody just mark out what we have done. Give it a मैंने लाइन तो ड्रॉ किया है.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next, yeah, okay, welcome back. Next week evening.
Yes, ma'am.
Make sure you are bring your that volume of English language.